Hey guys, Andrew from McNasty Customs. We figured we'd make a little video here to show you guys how to strip powder coat off using the Benco B17. Now, I've been on YouTube, I've been looking around, I've been on the Benco website and so on, and there's really not a lot of very good videos that show you everything. Somebody's got a 2-minute video here, a 3-minute video there, something they're dropping in and dipping real quick, but it doesn't go through the basics and show you. So I'm going to take all the information that I've come up with, throw it all together, and make one video so you can read everything, see everything, and take it from there. Whether this is something you want to use or not, it's pretty serious stuff. So we're going to take it from the beginning. So, Benco, Sales Incorporated, B-E-N-C-O, Benco. I got a close-up label, picture of the label. B17, that's the acid, B17. You type in B17 in any forums, powder coat forums, so on, looking how to strip powder coat. This is the cat's meow. This is expensive. They won't ship it to a home residence, so you need a business address to get this shipped to. They sell it anywhere from 5 gallons up to 55 gallons. This 55 gallon came to us, I believe it was $732, and they delivered it to the business. So, 55 gallons, and you can't use this container because you need a container like the one behind us with a removable top. So, $732 to start with. To do it right, if you want to do 55 gallons. You can do 5 gallons in little smaller drums and so on, depending on how big and how small you are and what you have to do. We needed, to do big, large, long pieces. This is the only way to do it. It's 55 gallons. So behind us, we ended up buying 3 barrels, one for the acid, one for the water mixture, and we have one outside that's solid water, so for the cleaning purposes. So we got 3 barrels with removable, sealable tops. Okay, so now, first thing off the bat, we're going to... Okay, not really first thing off the bat. This is the first thing off the bat, is the setup. Below us, behind us, you can see, if I move this a little bit to the side for now, you can see we have this safety setup over here. I bought this from Uline. It was $309 shipped. It will hold 55 gallons, and it is a 4-barrel work platform. So you can get right on here, put all kinds of weight on here, not have any issues. That's the better route of it. They have other ones. You can actually pick this up with a forklift. This is the heavy-duty version, $309. They have other ones that you can't pick up with the forklift, spill containers and so on. Just in case something goes wrong here, man, this will eat right through the cement and the concrete, whatever your floor is in your building, it'll eat through it. So you don't want to deal with that. So you need plastic containers. You cannot use steel barrels at all. You need plastic that the acid will not eat through. So we set it up. We bought this, we put the barrel on, we transferred. From that point, I guess now we'll be back to the first step. Once you have your setup, you transfer the acid from one barrel to the next. I had a little bit of an issue, but this was a $5 pump, hand pump. So, from Harbor Freight, it's one way to get the majority of it. So I put one barrel up here, and I propped it up a little bit on wood, so one barrel is higher than the other, so you're going to gravity feed it into the other barrel. Suppose you can use a pump or something like that, electric pump, but this acid is going to eat the insides of that pump, and the pump is going to be junk. So you want something cheap that you can throw away, more or less. You definitely cannot siphon this by siphoning like you would a gas tank and sucking. If you got any of this mouth, man, go immediately to the hospital. This stuff will kill you instantly, so be very careful. So we bought this $5 pump because we know we're just going to throw it away. We set one barrel higher than the empty barrel, the full barrel higher than the empty barrel, so we can gravity feed it. You pump, pump, pump with one finger over the end, and you'll see it come through, and boom, it'll create a vacuum, and you'll get about 40 gallons out of the barrel. The barrel will drain about 40 gallons if you get it up about 12 inches higher than the empty barrel. You'll get about 40 gallons out. At that point, what we did is we took the drain out, we put the cover back on, we brought our forklift in, we lowered the barrel down onto the forklift with the drain at the top, and then we removed the drain from the barrel as we pulled it in over the empty barrel, and we turned the barrel a little at a time. So say the drain hole was on top, you have basically two plugs on the barrel. We rolled it down until the acid started coming out of the barrel and filling the empty tank, the empty barrel, until we got about 50 gallons in there. It's a 55-gallon tall barrel we put about 50 gallons in there. You want to leave a little bit of room at the top for 2 reasons. So we have 5 gallons in this barrel left over. We need to transfer that into a nice plastic bucket to contain it off to the side. And now if you can buy, or you end up using 5-gallon buckets directly from Benco, then, you know, I could have used one of those, but I don't have that. I bought the 55. So, now we have 50 gallons of acid in that barrel, and we have a removable, sealable top. And that's what we do. With the ring hanging on the wall, we put the ring back on, the top back on, and we clip it with the ring. Very simple. The most important thing is your setup, so you're doing this clean and safe. So this is why we're going over the setup first. We'll go over the setup. You got 50 gallons in there. Now you can do one or two things. You need to leave a little bit of room for whatever you're putting into the actual acid itself. You don't want to overflow the barrel. And leaving 5 gallons out of the barrel brings me, I don't know, roughly to this area here. So it gives me quite a bit of stuff I can put into the barrel before it would overflow. The main thing is you can. If you choose to, you can. I chose to, and there's a couple of reasons why we do this. You don't have to. You can hear both sides, people saying it's negatives and people saying positives, but the majority of everybody says there's no negatives to it. You can fill about 1 inch of the top of the barrel with water. The water will sit on top of the acid. That will keep more or less the fumes coming out, because it does smell. I can smell it right now, and I probably should be wearing a mask, but how am I going to make a video doing that, right? Smart thinking. So, the water on top, 1 inch, that will pretty much give you a little evaporation layer. So the water on top will somewhat evaporate before the actual acid will. And it will keep, the water on top will keep the smell of the acid down a little bit. So that'll help you out. So in the shop, obviously you got to be in a well-ventilated area. We're in a big shop with the doors open and so on. So there's 2 reasons to put the water in there. That's the 2 reasons. Look into it for yourself if that's something you want to decide to do. Majority of people say that there's no issues at all with any of that. And honestly, I don't see how there would be, because it sits on top, it doesn't mix with the acid, and you're directly rinsing your products off with water afterwards. So the second part of the setup, okay, is the second barrel. That you fill up about the same, 50 gallons or so. Leave 5 gallons out. You want to fill the barrel close to the top, leave enough room so you can drop something in and it won't overflow the sides, okay? That's water right directly from your hose that you're going to put the other 50 gallons in the second barrel. Then we actually have barrel number 3 that we have with 50 gallons in it as well, outside for a final rinse. But the second barrel, you need to go by this. This is what you mix with it. 1 cup. So I went to the dollar store and I bought a cheap cup. This is a 2.5 cup. Maybe if you filled it to the top, it's 3. I don't know. I just go and buy what it says, so don't guess when you have numbers here. So 1 cup of this TSP mixes with every 10 gallons of clean water in your rinsing barrel. So this box was bought right in the paint section at Home Depot. This box is $9.96. I took 5 cups worth, and then I added a little more. 5 cups worth into that barrel. Like I said, this cup lines right here go to 2.5 cups. So I filled it to 2.5 cups, dumped it in, let it sit. I filled it with 2.5 cups, let it sit, and then I added a little tiny bit more just to be on the safe side. About a half a cup or so, whatever. I just added a little more just in case, because you don't know the exact amount of water in there. What if you put 52 gallons in, or I don't know. What if you had 48 gallons in there? So just, you can't overdo it with this. I mean, I wouldn't put another 2.5 cups in. So, Home Depot. I don't know how to say that. Trisodium phosphate. Trisodium phosphate, I guess is what it is. TSP, right at Home Depot. I don't know how many, this is a 4.5 pound box, so I don't know how many cups are actually in it. So I would say I took that 5, a little bit better than 5, and we are probably half the box left. So that'll do quite a bit. I bought 2 boxes. I didn't know where I was going with it. I didn't know how much a cup out of it was going to be, and then 5 cups. So I bought 2 boxes. I overkilled it. Cheap money, Home Depot, or pretty much probably any store, and grab that. So now we're pretty much set up at this point for the acid to take its effect. So now we have the barrel with 50 gallons in there, leaving a little bit of room at the top and a little bit of water to seal the top. And now we have 50 gallons in our rinsing barrel with our 5 cups of powder mixed in. And that's pretty much where we need to be. We have the safety element on the floor. We have the barrels on the floor. We have the barrels set up and ready to go. Next things, you need safety. Every piece of safety you can get. We're having a little bit of issue finding some safety because some stores around here donated everything during this virus, this Corona-19. They donated everything to hospitals and so on, so it's really hard to find some of the stuff around here. So we have the shorter gloves, which we just picked up because we're going to try it all. Then we have the longer gloves. I think we got some of this at Harbor Freight. I'm not even sure where it all came from, different stores. And I think these were anywhere between $9 and $14 for the ones that go all the way up your arm. You are going to need this stuff. You are going to need glasses. We got safety glasses on the wall, a bunch of them, just in case. You need a full face mask, and we don't have the face mask yet because we can't find them anywhere. And you should use a ventilator. The one last thing that would be really good is the full, like, scientist rubber smock. This stuff you all want as rubber as possible. You can't use regular gloves. You cannot use, hospital rubber gloves or anything like that. Latex gloves, anything along those lines. You cannot use those. It will eat through it within like 30 seconds. Cannot use that. You need rubber gloves. You need protection. You need a face mask, a filter, filtration system, whatever you can find and use. The bigger the better. Can't go wrong. And if you can have safety glasses on with the actual mask that comes over, that is what you would need for safety gear. You don't want to get this on your finger. Okay, so I will give you a quick example of when that little pump that I showed you, I had a couple of issues with it stopping when I didn't have the barrel tall enough. This is why I told you guys lift the actual barrel of the acid higher than the other barrel. So I got it for a distance, height-wise that was filling up, and then it stopped. It didn't want to vacuum out anymore because the 2 levels, the acid in the new barrel, were relatively the same height, and it's not going to transfer anymore. So you have to raise the other barrel so the gravity feed will feed in. It's only if you buy one of these 55 gallons. You can buy them by 5 gallons or whatever else and keep dumping them in. Then you don't have to do it this way. I'm just giving you advice on how I did it. So with this pump here, the way it seals on the end, a little tiny bit of the acid came through, and I'm talking it was damp. It wasn't enough to drip. It wasn't enough to have an issue like that. It was just damp. And I, as I was doing it, I touched it with my finger, okay? My finger stung for about 4 hours, okay? And then I went and washed it off 3 times with like dish detergent soap, so it was real bubbly. And it had a stinging, numbing feeling to it for about 4 hours, okay? It moved up and it kind of like went along the edges of my fingernail, and it felt like it was under the fingernail, to where later on that day the numbing kind of went away. But if I was to touch my fingernail at all, it would instantly throb. It was like that for almost 48 hours. Okay, and like I said, if you were to lick your hand and touch it, that's all the amount that I had on my finger. This stuff is nasty, so protect yourself. You don't want any of this on your skin, in your eyes, or in your lungs. So please, you guys read the instructions, you guys understand what's going on with this stuff. Safety first. That's why we have the safety container on the floor, and this is why you gotta wear all this apparel. So, I'm going to be very careful in this video. Okay, I'm going to use the gloves and so on, but I'm not going to put the mask on so I can talk to you. But because of that, I'm going to go extremely slow touching everything so I make sure nothing splashes and nothing gets on anything. So, that's where we're going to be in this video to show you that. So that was that pump from $4. Don't get any on your hands. The next thing I came around and did, getting ready, obviously the pots that are already powder coated need to be stripped. You don't got to set those up because you already got them. I made some hooks like this out of, I believe I got this at Tractor Supply, thick gauge, I don't know if this is stainless, I believe it is stainless wire. You buy it, it's like $8.99 right at Tractor Supply in the hardware section. It comes in a thick roll. You know, you got to use some thick pliers to cut this stuff. But this is what I made. Okay, very simple what I did. I'll show you. There's a reason for all of this. I have a couple in here now that are hanging. You can see them in the top of the barrel, and they are different heights. This is the shorter one that I made, and it has this piece coming off the back so you can clip it onto the edge of the barrel. And this is your handle. You can reach in, not on some kind of bent piece of wire and not some kind of ply as you're trying to hold on to get it out. This is my handle. And when you got your rubber glove, if you make the handle big enough, the rubber glove goes directly in, not a problem. And then you come down and you hang it on the end of the barrel. And obviously your piece is hanging in here. Very simple to do. I'm not going to go crazy right now. I'm just going to show you really fast on how to make one. Very simple. Take the wire before you cut anything. Take, I don't know, go back 6 inches, 8 inches. And, you know, hold your hand here and just bend it down. So that's what you look like. And then you will bend this piece over around the handle. Very simple. And then what I do with a pair of pliers is I take the pliers, come in almost all the way to the wire, leave about 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and then just twist it down. And then, you know, you want to have it opened enough so it can sit onto the barrel. So there you go. Very simple to make this. Come down to where whatever size that you need will be your height in your barrel. The further you go down on this, the further down in the barrel. Pick whatever you want. These are strong snips. These are Klein tools, so you're going to want something that's going to be, and then simply, now it's bending this way, kind of somewhat straighten her out. Come down the end, come up 2 inches, 3 inches. You could do this with the pliers as well. You could do it with your hand. I'll do it with my hand. And you want to bend it away on the opposite side of where it's going to hook on the barrel. Pretty simple, guys. I'm just making a quick hanger just to show you guys what I'm working with. And you want a little bit of a height here because you don't want your product falling off and into the barrel. You're going to have an issue with that. You know, so you need a good height here to wiggle the thing around, to push it up and down. You're going to want a little bit. So about 2 inches is a good height there. This one here is a very short one. So the piece is going to be at the very top, so I didn't go as crazy because I'm trying to keep it as tight to the top of the barrel because I have some guards over there that are about 28 inches, 30 inches long. So I have to get them all the way to the bottom of the barrel to strip those. So this you'll be a lot more careful with. The ones that are starting to sit deeper and deeper into the barrel, you're going to want a long piece on here so you don't drop them in. Again, guys, I'm just giving you a bunch of tips on what's going on here. Okay, guys, so I went over the basics on how to fill the barrel, what your measurements are with everything, what you're going to need to do to clean off, to dip the pots in, and to obviously clean off the pots, and I showed you everything for safety. Something that you don't see right now is because we're having an issue with the metal shops up here, again, because of the Corona-19. We're going to actually use expanded metal and put it across this entire area and box this in. And I'm going to put a door on the front so nobody can get in here at any time. The barrels are closed at night and they are contained and everything, but you just want to be as safe as possible. This stuff is nasty. So I got my rubber gloves on and I got my eye safety on. The only thing I should have a mask on, but I'm not going to be with the camera going so we could do this video. And I wish I had a rubber bib, but I don't have one of those. Obviously the Corona-19 is killing all the inventory from everywhere. So just, if you guys can have that stuff, use it. We're going to show you. We have something sitting in the barrel. This is something that's been sitting in the barrel for a while. Now, like I said, this gets, some of this stuff's tough to come out and in. These were black. So, now, this one's been sitting in here long enough. This one's stripped and this one's ready to go. I actually put a hook up on top here to let the acid drip off. And you can walk away. Let the acid drip off completely as much as you can. Because you're just throwing the acid away. And your stuff's expensive. You don't really want to be doing that. So, You can see it. I don't know how good the video is right now, but you can see it clearly. It's like water just dripping off, so you can see all the drip. So just let it sit for a second. You can see there's some areas on the edges that don't 100% come off. So we've done a few of these guards already, and not everything comes 100% off. So some of the stuff you might have to hit with a whizzer, hit with a sandpaper, the edges and so on. I don't understand, but it's just the way it works. Sometimes it takes absolutely everything off in a minute. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes. So this has been in the barrel for about 20 minutes. That's the magic number that I'm coming, between 20 and 25 minutes for so far the stuff that I've stripped to completely get off. So a lot of it comes off pretty fast, but it's to get the other edges and so on. That's what you're going to want to leave the extra time in for, just to get the... So I say the majority of it, 80% of it comes off 10 minutes. The rest of it, the little edges and stuff, that's what you got to let it sit. So right now we're going to take that guard, I'm going to rinse it in the barrel a few times, and that's pretty much ready to bring outside and put in our last barrel. Like I said, I'm going very careful because I don't have all the stuff on so I can make the video, but this is the barrel of neutralized water. There you have it. We'll let it drip off. You can shake it a little bit. This should be, all the acid in it should be neutralized. And then this is going to, I'm going to just put it aside over here. This is going to go outside for our last dip in the barrel. Let's see what we got here. This one has also been in. So if you guys put hooks up behind your shelves, you can hang all the parts and your hooks and so on that you're going to need. Let's check this one out. Like I said, that one's been in there for 20 minutes, so that one is pretty stripped as well. 22, 24 as we were setting this video up. So what we are going to do is we are going to show you, this is black powder coat. It was an issue with something that happened somewhere with one load of the powder coat. So what we decided to do, instead of trying to touch it up or butter it up or any of that stuff, is we were just going to strip it down. We started sanding a few of them, and we tried to hit them, you know, re-powder coat them over again with a light coat, and they weren't coming out quite right. And any of you guys watching this video already know we powder coated front and back. And we are going to, let's see, take this hook. However you want to put it in. You know, you want it to slide in and out of the barrel as smooth as possible, so whatever tight edges you're going to have, you don't want grabbing inside the barrel. Simply put it in. Now, like I said, go slow because you're not splashing anything. I'm working extremely slow here. And with your hanger, hang it on the end of the barrel. And if you want, take your cover, put your cover back on, and let it sit for its 20 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. Now we have our garden here. We are going to do 20-minute time lapse on this. Just put your cover back on, keeps it from evaporating, keeps from the smell. I mean, the best you can anyway. Obviously you have something sitting inside. There you go. You have something sitting inside there. So, let's wait 20 minutes, come back, see what happens. Okay guys, it's been about 7 minutes. As you can see, now to get some of the, see the spots, like I said, some of the spots are going to be really tough. They're just going to be real stubborn. So you just got to basically put it back in. Like I said, I'm going real slow. Recover it. and wait. And we'll come back in a few more minutes. We'll take a look at that. Okay guys, here we are at about 20 minutes. Let's remove the cover. And we will see where we are. There's some nasty stuff that floats on top of this, which I'm going to close up in a minute. It's all like jelly. That's not really the powder coat. That's because we don't have a ton of powder coat sitting in this setup. That is, I don't know. That's just part of the acid. That's just, you know, whatever's left over. It's just a nasty jelly. So we're pretty close to what we want to be at, stripped wise. And we are hanging it, letting it drip in. Now, I don't see other people hanging it and so on in other videos, like I said, so, you know, take what you want from this video. I just wanted to give the most informative video of all the pieces together so you can make your own decision on if this is something you want to use or not. And we're just going to show you more or less what gets done. We're going to let that drip for a second, and I'm going to set something else up to drop in so we can take a quick look at that while we're looking at the barrels up close. So give me a second, guys. Alright guys, so what I did is I quickly found another guard laying around here, different kind of tub guard for our razors. I'm going to drop this in while this other one's dripping, and I'm going to rinse the other one. And just so you can kind of see the amount of time it takes for it to start working. So, here we are. Guard's hanging, it's about done dripping, so what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the second barrel that has the TSP in it, and we're going to rinse it from there. Take it over, slowly. Still dripping a little bit. Now you can set it. Now you can set it in the barrel and hang it on the back hooks like we have here. Let it sit for a little bit, it's going to neutralize it. But really, it doesn't need to sit in a neutralizing barrel very long. You just drop it in. And the reason we have a third barrel is I'm going to show you in a second. We'll take the camera off the stand. We're going to walk over here and show you. There's stuff floating. So this kind of like acidy jelly stuff stays on the guard when you pull it up. When you move it over to the second barrel, it rinses it off, but some of that jelly stays in the top. And as you play with it and take it out, that's why we bring it to the third barrel, to get some of the rest of that jelly and stuff off, because it's going to only allow you to take off so much. So this is sat in here for a second. That's pretty much neutralized. That's pretty much it. Like to wiggle it around. Hopefully any little pieces of powder coat or whatever will rinse off. Oh, it's pretty good. You can see a couple spots. There's a spot here. Let me take it on the camera, up to the camera and show you. Oh, let me show you what I mean by a couple little spots. So you can see on the edges where we have little holes, you can see the black powder there. You can see in this crease. Let's see, yeah, see it's basically gone. Let me scrape it with the, it's basically scraping off. Down here, in this hole, comes right off. Inside some of these edges, see the top of the M and so on. You see a little bit left over, a little bit right there in that corner. There we are right there. A little bit left there, that's probably gonna almost wipe off with my hand. So, okay, so on the back side here, see the jelly? Right there. Above this hole right here. This is the jelly stuff. See it? It moves around. That's the jelly stuff that I'm talking about with the acid. So that's why, look at it, you can see it right here really well. That's why you want to use the third barrel if you can. But you're bringing it outside, and if you don't need the third barrel, you whatever, have a third barrel, then you want to rinse it off with the holes immediately. So, rinse it off. Okay, I went outside and I rinsed off that piece. So you saw how long this has taken. This has been in about 4 minutes. I can see orange floating on top of the acid here, and I haven't pulled anything up. 4 minutes. Hey, that's amazing. Yeah, see, that's coming right off. So this one, so the black clearly is taking longer than the orange took. The orange is almost done within 4 minutes. So if you left that in for about 10 minutes, I mean, it's pretty much done now at 4 minutes. But I mean, if you leave it in for 10, if you hung like 3 pieces on there, you'd get 3 pieces done in that same 10 minutes. And you rinse it. You want to make sure that it gets around all the insides. You know, get as much powder off as you can. The insides, if it leaves any powder on the inside, you can't sand that off. You can't get to it. So that's going to be the issue with that. So leave it in. Let it eat it away. Let it do its job. And bring it over here to the second tank. Rinse it off. And like I said, if you don't have an outside tank, then as soon as you get it out of here, you want out of the second tank with the neutralize it, then bring it outside, and you're going to have to wash it with a hose or something. You're going to have to get the rest of that jelly contaminants off. Now, once you're completely clean, you know, rinsed off wherever you are at any point, if you want, you can put it into the oven and you can bake it for about 10 minutes, and that'll get any more contaminants off of it. That might be in around the corners or any insides of pieces, depending on what kind of pot you're doing. So you can bake it for 10 minutes, then obviously let it cool down, then you can do whatever, prep it and powder coat it. Like I said, I could see the orange instantly bubbling on the top of that tank. I'm going to show you again. See if we got that orange off the bottom yet. Yeah, I see a little tiny bit left right there. Yep, so let it eat that little bit. Now I'm going to grab the camera and I'm going to come walk it over here, and I'm going to take it off the stand, obviously. I'm going to show you what the tops of this barrels look like so you can see what I was talking about this whole time. It's pretty much almost the end of the video. We showed you everything we needed to. So now you can see the orange. Now that's the jelly-like substance that's in that barrel from minute 1. The minute you transfer it over, the minute you open it, that's in the barrel, whatever that stuff is. So that's like leftover residue, whatever, of the actual acid itself. This is the clean barrel. This is the barrel with the TSP in it. Trisodium phosphate, or however, frostgate, whatever you say. However you say it. That's what it looks like. So that's the jelly substance and some powder coat. You can see the black powder coat right there from a couple of that we've already done. That obviously gets, when you lift the peat product through this jelly stuff, it gets onto it. Then you put it over here. You put it down into the barrel, the product, and it rinses it off, neutralizes it, and then this jelly gets left over. So some of this jelly gets pulled out on the pot when you pull it out for the third time. And like I said, we have a barrel outside. We have the power washer, so when we do a bunch of pieces, we power wash them, but we have another barrel right here set up, and it just basically sits outside and fills with water naturally. And that's the setup that we have here. Okay guys, so for the conclusion of this video, I'm going to try to just show you something real quick. I'm going to just dip this into the actual acid, a piece of it at a time. Let's just see how long this takes. So I can finish up the video while doing this, and it just shows you how fast things are going. So I went over everything real quick. I showed you what you're going to need, how you're going to dilute things, how to make your hooks, you know, little ideas and little pointers. If you look at that already, you can see that it's completely eaten that up. Let's just hold it here. I just want to try to show you really quick, like the fast idea of how this works on actual time instead of fast forwarding into it. I showed you the Bentco, the B17. I gave you, you know, it's Bentco whatever.com you can find this stuff at. I told you how much everything was, what you're going to receive, where you can get every piece, what kind of safety gear you should have, what kind of setup you're going to need. Like I said, I am going to put expanded metal cage around this. So, yeah, this stuff's peeling right off. Look at this powder coat peeling off. Well, that's why you got to completely dip it, because now it's just going to be a long sheet that's attached to it. So I'm showing you all this in real time, how fast to get this powder coat off. Yeah, so I mean, that's basically it, guys. I mean, you take what you want from this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can like and share, please. And hopefully this, you know, is a complete video, unlike other videos that are on there. I wasn't sure 100% if I wanted to get into this. I wasn't 100% sure, you know, what I needed to do. I kept just doing research and research because I didn't want to do this wrong. And, you know, this is everything that I came up with. Actually, I can hear it. You guys saw me do this in real time. Look at the powder peeling off. Both sides. Look at this. So there you go, guys. There you have it. Real time, how fast that works. That's, again, like I said, this orange seems to peel really fast for some odd reason. But that's going to be like, there's multiple different powder coats that you can get. And now I'm going to neutralize my hand. There's multiple different powder coats, different styles, different, you know, all kinds of mixtures and so on. So you guys obviously, powder coat, you obviously know that. And there you have it, guys. So guys, we have a bunch of different videos up there. I don't know if you know, whatever. Want to like and share? We appreciate it. Thanks, guys.